The extraordinary session was prompted by increasing public pressure for the release of former President Jammeh's assets and the identities of their buyers, including a nationwide protest organized by Gala, during which several members were arrested. The motion, presented by Honorable Billay G. Tunkara, member for Contoura and the majority leader of the Assembly, is in accordance with Section 109, subsection 2 of the 1997 Constitution and Order 95, subsection 5 of the National Assembly Standing Orders. The motion seeks the Assembly's approval to establish a special select committee to investigate the sale and disposal of assets identified by the Commission of Inquiry known as the Janneh Commission.
This Honorable Assembly resolved to establish a special select committee to inquire into the sale and disposal of assets identified by the Commission and forfeited to the state. Mandate the committee to conduct a full, impartial, and independent inquiry and report its findings and recommendations to this Assembly within a period not exceeding 120 days from the date of its first sitting. Empower the committee to summon any person, institution, or entity it deems necessary to assist in the discharge of its mandate.
Key powers to be granted to the committee will include the authority to request the appointment of an advisor with relevant qualifications who will not have voting rights, the right to inspect all relevant documents, including books, records, agreements, and official communications, among others. The composition of the committee, as stated by the motion, will consist of 7 National Assembly members, reflecting political balance and gender inclusivity as far as practicable. The committee's terms of reference will include, but not limited to, investigating the list of assets identified by the Commission and determining which were sold, transferred, or disposed of, examining the legal and administrative processes involved in the disposal of these assets, including the authority under which they were sold, assessing compliance with Gambian laws related to procurement, anti-corruption, and public finance, evaluating the valuation, pricing, and procurement methods to identify any discrepancies or under-valuation and competitiveness of the sales, among other things.
Identify and profile purchasers of the assets, including individuals and corporate entities, assessing whether the proper procedures were followed, and determine whether any conflict of interest, abuse of office, or procedural irregularities occurred. Wherever discrepancies of a criminal or fraudulent nature are discovered during the inquiry, immediately cause a report to those findings to be submitted to the Inspector General of Police for further necessary action.
The Clerk of the National Assembly will be tasked to designate personnel with the necessary expertise to support the committee, including members from the Legal Affairs Department. The support staff will assist with documentation, background investigation, public hearing logistics, and the preparation of reports. The motion was seconded by Honorable Seni Jawara, allowing other members to contribute to the discussion.
We should be selecting people who will be here, who will be ready to die and investigate this matter with other members.
First, the committee must establish in full how much were the assets of the former president. The committee must equally establish how much was accounted for. Naturally, the gap will be the unaccounted one before going into the procedures. But if we limit the committee into the assets that were only identified by the Janneh Commission, what about the assets that were not identified?
We evaluated these assets, where $1 million asset cost us only $100,000. We have to be very sure of that, Honorable Speaker. So this committee has a very huge mandate. Honorable Speaker, we will also look at what kind of process was involved in this.
I want that further to be changed immediately for the fact that we have a lot of reports before the IGP and he never acted. So we cannot trust him like that. I definitely want us to salvage the clerk of this National Assembly by not giving him all our powers. With appointments, let it be done in consultation with the special committee.
Any one of us who think politically you might be biased in this regard, please, even if you are nominated to be member of the special committee, recuse yourself.
Time without numbers, we have seen committees coming here requesting for extension. We are not compromising this one. Let them do the needful within 180 days and see that they produce a very comprehensive report.
The reason why we stood for 3 good years is what has been unearthed today.
Members of the Gambian Against Looted Assets, known as GALA, attended the session, having sparked this debate following an investigative report by the Republic News outlet, which revealed details about the sale of Jammeh's assets and pressured the government to release the list after years of withholding it. However, many concerned Gambians believe the assets were sold at undervalued prices. Deputy spokesperson of GALA, Babukar Nancy, spoke with reporters after the motion was tabled, sharing their expectation for the committee's work.
Need honorable members that are not conflicted. You cannot be a player and be a referee. If you I want to believe that to do this tax in a transparent way, bring in members that are neutral to do this investigation. Coming to the time frame, I want to believe 120 days is enough. I have to look into this from top to bottom and report back to Gambians.
Following the debate, the selection committee of the Assembly is expected to select members for the committee to carry out this important investigation. The committee is anticipated to commence work within 7 days of its establishment and submit its final report to the National Assembly within 120 days from its first sitting, unless an extension is granted by Assembly resolution. The report will detail factual findings, legal analysis, evidence records, and recommendations for relevant authorities. Maria Madem, reporting for Star TV News.